Welcome to Ethics Matters. This is your Professor Joe. Today I am summarizing the ideas discussed in Chapter 9 on deontological ethics. My opening question is, why be moral if it hurts? What if being ethical wasn't about success, reward, or happiness, but simply doing what is right because it is right? Deontological ethics invites us to ask not what will happen if I act, but what is my duty? In a world where good people often suffer and unjust people succeed, deontological ethics offers a radical answer. Moral action is grounded in duty, not outcome. The meaning of deontology, duty above all. The term deontology comes from the Greek deon, duty, and logos, reason study. This theory focuses on moral obligation, on doing the right thing because it is inherently right, regardless of consequences, popularity, or personal feelings. At its core is the conviction that ethics is about principles, not results. Immanuel Kant and the moral law. Immanuel Kant, an 18th century German philosopher, proposed that true morality is based on rationality and universality. He argued that humans, as rational beings, can discover the moral law within themselves and act from it. This gives rise to the categorical imperative, a command of reason that applies universally. The categorical imperative, three key maxims. Kant's moral philosophy is expressed in three major formulations. Maxim 1, universality, only act on principles that could become universal laws. Maxim 2, humanity as an end. Never treat people as mere tools, but as ends in themselves. Maxim 3, autonomy. Act as if you are a self-legislator. Governed by moral law, you give yourself through reason. These formulations emphasize consistency, respect, and moral independence. Example and contrast. Omelas versus Kant. Consider the story, the ones who walk away from Omelas, where a city's joy relies on a child's suffering. A utilitarian accepts the trade-off for the greater good, but Kant and deontology rejects it. Using someone as a means, even for happiness, is never moral. Deontological ethics says some acts are simply wrong, no matter the benefit. Human dignity and rights. At the heart of Kantian ethics lies reverence for human dignity. Every person, regardless of status or ability, has intrinsic worth simply by being rational and free. From this idea flows modern concepts of human rights, not because they are useful, but because they are owed to persons as moral beings. Autonomy, the power of rational moral will. True freedom for Kant is not doing what you want, but doing what you ought. When you obey moral law from within, because you recognize its rational necessity, you are autonomous. You are not ruled by impulse, emotion, or fear, but by reason. That is moral maturity. Duty versus inclination, the moral worth of an action. Kant makes a crucial distinction. Doing what is right because it feels good equals inclination. Doing what is right because it is your duty equals moral worth. Helping someone out of duty, not convenience, is what makes an action truly ethical, even when no one is watching, even when it costs you. Case study, the murderer at the door. Should you lie to save a life? Kant says no. Lying is always wrong. If everyone lied, trust would collapse. Though controversial, Kant defends this rigor to protect moral integrity. Critics argue for flexibility, but Kant's stance forces us to confront the tension between truth, duty, and consequence. Criticisms and challenges. Kant's ethics faces serious critiques. Too rigid for real-life complexity, ignores consequences, even tragic ones, doesn't handle conflicting duties well, assumes high levels of rational clarity not all people possess. Still, it calls us to something noble, a life of principled action in a world of compromise. Modern application. integrity in action. In daily life, Kantian ethics challenges us to tell the truth even when it's hard, keep promises even when inconvenient, respect people even when no one sees. It reminds us what matters isn't just what we do, but why we do it. Closing thought: the heroism of duty. Kant's legacy is moral clarity in a fog of relativism. In a world often swayed by feelings, trends, or gain, his ethics insists, do the right thing because it is right. Not for applause, not for reward, but because the voice of reason within you says, this is your duty. Thank you for joining in this lecture. Let us continue to be guided not by ease, but by principle. That is the Kantian way. See you next time in our next episode on Virtue Ethics.